Dandu Danda, order your men to turn on the Nova Corps. Enough nonsense, Ravager! Time to...
Hello, Internet. We're here to do some good. We're here to do some bad. We are Aaron the Accuser. And with me today, I have, and Ryan, this could go either way for you. I have either Ryan Raccoon or Rocket Ryan. I didn't know which one you prefer.
We're gonna go Rocket Ryan.
Rocket Ryan? Okay,
Like
I'll note that for
Rocket
next time.
Ryan.
I'll note that for next time.
I really like Rocket Ryan.
It's cute. I like
That's
it.
good.
Welcome.
That's good.
Welcome to After Credits cast, where we talk about movies, and we're doing the MCU countdown. In case you guys are just now catching up on that one, you missed the last. How many episodes have we done? Shit, this is like 8.
Oh
8 episodes?
Lord, for real?
Let's see. There's a 5 original. 6 original. I forgot about Captain America. Then after that, there's Iron Man, Thor. Shit, this is 9. Yeah. Holy crap. We're doing pretty good. So, 9 movies in. If you are just now realizing we're doing an MCU countdown, welcome to the show. Glad you caught up. So today we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, which I would argue is probably my favorite movie of the bunch, or at least in contention for my favorite. I bounce back and forth between a couple different ones. But yeah, we're in space. We're going to have some fun with this. Ryan, how's your week been?
Pretty damn good. I am hella hype for this coming weekend.
Oh yeah, this is a Black Panther launch week for us, isn't it?
Apparently, the greatest fucking Marvel film of all time is about to come out in a few days, and I'm very excited.
So, I want to discuss this when we get to Black Panther, because this issue I've seen crop up in a few different spots. But I want to hint at it here, because it bugs me, and I hate that I have to wait, like, another month and a half before we can talk about it, like, legitimately.
I tell you what, we'll make a quick aside next week on holy shit, it actually lived up to the hype, and then we'll save the rest.
Right. Just a quick hint, though. So I've been on Twitter seeing the various articles that are out from news outlets and various critics saying their early praise about the film. And I love the reactions I've seen from some people who are just like, why is this considered a movement? Because you guys are drawing this line in the sand about race. It doesn't have to be, it's just the movie, guys. I'm like, you guys saw Get Out last year, right? You guys know this is kind of in the same line as that. This is the first major, for lack of a better term, this is the first major film, aside from Get Out, within the past few years that has an all-black cast, black director, black writer, all of this stuff with a big budget behind it, this much marketing. It's a big deal, guys. Let's stop mincing words here and just admit to it. It's a big deal. You guys don't see it as a big deal because the default for you is the same thing every time. So, the same chiseled, brown-haired white dude as your hero getting the girl, saving the day. That's the default for you. This is something wholly different. So let's just admit it here, guys. This is a big deal.
And it's important that people get that. I mean, it's like, we don't have, like, I can damn near count on one hand the number of movies that really, like, feature, like,
a prominent
an all African American cast. I mean, Jesus. And the fact that it's getting this big of a budget, and it's, like, this prominent of a film in the Marvel, like, cinematic universe, which is a multi-billion-dollar, like, machine at this point. So the fact that we're getting an all African American cast is fantastic. But if it goes so far as to be, like, an actual amazing movie, goddamn. Goddamn.
Specifically, I've seen 2 tweets that drive me up the wall. I'm going to say him here, and then we're going to get into Guardians of the Galaxy, because we don't want to spend too much time not talking about the movie we're supposed to be talking about.
I know. Just excited.
The first tweet is from someone who was talking about critics saying, if you are white, you cannot actually give a review for this movie, because you will, there's no if, you will have some bias either towards or against African Americans, and ergo your review is compromised. I saw that, I'm like, what?
Man, what?
The other one I saw. What? The other one I saw was from. It looked like an older person, another white person, but an older person this time, and they were saying that they don't feel like they can go watch the movie opening week like they want to because they're worried they will quote unquote take the black joy out of the room, and I'm like,
what?
Go see the movie. Stop doing this to yourself. You're making yourself look like a jackass.
This fucking people
Ryan,
fucking baffle me.
Ryan,
God damn
Ryan,
it.
I don't want to come off as an SJW, okay? Because I hear that's a big thing on the internet people don't want to be. Whatever that is. I'm assuming it's like a social justice dynasty warrior kind of thing. But, Ryan, as a friend of mine who is of a different ethnicity, I must ask you, is representation in movies important to you?
Absolutely, but oh my god, I feel like as resident black guy of this podcast, I have to like do a fucking fucking public service announcement. Okay, look, guys, people of the internet, this movie is very important to black people. That does not mean it only belongs to black people. Go see the movie. Enjoy the movie for what it is, which is a fantastic fucking film by all accounts, and don't shit on black people who are enjoying seeing an all-black cast in a fantastic multi-billion-dollar movie. Just enjoy it and let other people also enjoy it. I feel like this is common sense, but it apparently isn't.
I know, right?
Go enjoy the fucking movie, guys.
I want to
have my blessing.
I want to addendum to that. You are welcome to have dissenting opinions in the movie because it is a work of art, and everyone is allowed to have different opinions on works of art. That being said, if your different opinion is I don't like it because they're black, that's not an opinion you should really be broadcasting. We can't stop you, but you probably shouldn't be broadcasting that. Because that's going to backfire in so many horrible ways.
For real, if that's your only criticism of the movie, just stop. Just stop fucking talking. You just stop. Go somewhere. At that point, just go the fuck on somewhere. If you come up to me and you say, well, I mean, I thought it was really good, but I thought the CGI was a little too much. I'll be like, okay, that's cool. If you come up to me and say, I didn't really like the way Michael B. Jordan portrayed his character, I'll be like, alright, what didn't you like about it? And then we'll talk about it. If you just say it's too many black people, I'm going to say, get the fuck out my face. That's the end of the discussion.
What was I going to say? And one last thing I want to say is one of the replies I saw in this Twitter thread was, it got to a digression where they were talking about female leads in movies, and they started with Wonder Woman, and how, did you have the same reaction when Wonder Woman came out? And some guy responded to it saying, yes, I said the exact same things about this, or about that I said about this. There are plenty of movies that represent women or minorities. And then he put up a list of the top 25 women in film. And the list proceeded... And I checked this list out. The vast majority of it was women who were portrayed as side characters, love interests, damsels in distress. And I sit here, I'm reading this, I'm like, sir, you don't understand what it is women or minorities want. Please get the fuck out of the room.
Yeah, he missed the whole fucking criticism, didn't he? He missed the whole fucking point of the discussion.
Pretty much.
You can't tell me that women aren't portrayed in movies. I see women in movies all the time. I'm like, how many do you see?
Look at this one bent over the couch with her ass out.
How many do you see leading the movie, though? Come on, guys. Please. How many do you see leading a movie that isn't about a man in some way?
Well, and what's important to add to that, too? What's important to add to that, too, is, like I said earlier with Get Out and now Black Panther, it's not so much about just getting representation, but about getting representation across different genres, different mediums, and all this stuff. Yes, you can have your old blaxploitation films, but those are really cheesy, really bad, and honestly, we've done better since then. And yes, we have a bunch of Will Smith movies, but you can't just have every movie for black people be, oh, hey, look, another Will Smith movie. You know, you need to. There's plenty of black actors out there. There's plenty of women, Hispanic, whatever actors out there who are trying to make make a living off this. Give them all opportunities. Make more movies with them as prominent characters so they can all have more job opportunities. That's really the main thing I want to get at, on top of representation for the audiences. But today we're going to be talking about a green person, a white dude, a raccoon, a tree, and what's the last one? A wrestler in a bunch of makeup.
Thus ends our 8-minute diatribe on Black Panther in our Guardians of the Galaxy podcast.
I thought it was a good way to bring it back.
It was good. Honestly, and this really struck me during my rewatch of this. But this movie, like, this group is by far the greatest. It's like the greatest session of Dungeons and Dragons I have ever fucking seen, because the group is entirely a D&D group. You have your main character, who is a bard.
I'd say he's more of a rogue, honestly.
No, he like the fact that
have you seen his sleight of hand skill? He rolled a 20 on that pretty hard.
Sleight of hand, like no lie, sleight of hand is good, but his emphasis on music, his like heavy ass charisma, and like bards have expertise too. Bards are really skilled as well. He's a bard.
So then, is Batista a barbarian or is he a fighter? Because I feel like Gamora would be the fighter or a ranger.
Gamora is the monk. Batista is the fighter.
Well, hang on. But here's my argument, though. Batista can fly into a rage, which is what barbarians do. And in the case of Gamora, she actually uses a lot of weapons, which I know monks can do, but monks
are all trained in weapons.
But I mean, she has a good variety of weapons. I feel like that definitely fits a fighter class.
I would say Gamora's the monk. Batista, Drax, call him by his actual name. Drax the Destroyer. Drax the Destroyer is a barbarian fighter. Okay. Groot is a druid barbarian. And with a very peculiar wild shape ability. And Rocket is an artificer all the way. Just straight up 20 levels in artificer. That's it.
I feel like there's a little rogue in him too, but that's
maybe a little rogue. That's
more movie too. That's more movie too.
Mostly, he's the goddamn tinker, just killing it.
It's a good group. I like it.
I love it. I was watching it, and then I had that thought, and then I could not shake the thought for the entire rest of the movie. I'm just like, no, that's what's happening.
Well, let me run over some stats real quick, and then we'll do a quick synopsis, and then we'll continue this lovely discussion of our D&D space party.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright, so this movie came out August 1st of 2014. It feels like such a long time ago, but it really wasn't. The director is the miraculously awesome James Gunn. Love this man. He's great. It was written by James Gunn and Nicole Perlman. This movie stars all new characters. We've never seen any of these people before in MCU, so we got some fun names here. Got Chris Pratt, is it Zoe or Zoe? Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, and I think is this his first or one of his first roles in actual film?
I want to say it's his first prominent role. He might have been in a WWE movie. I don't know. That went straight to DVD, but fuck.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've heard his name much in the film sphere until this one, and he did a good job for his first major outing.
He actually did real good. I am not mad at him for his portrayal of. Actually, hold on, let me check real quick.
Oh yeah, while you're checking. I got Vin Diesel, who does the many voices of Groot because he did it in every language. We have Bradley Cooper, who did the voice of Rocky Raccoon. We have Lee Pace, Karen Gillian, Jimon Honsu. What he said. John C. Reilly. Good cast. When I first heard John C. Reilly was in this, I thought he'd be in it a little bit more, but he's in it a good enough amount. I'm okay with it.
Oh, so real fast, this was not his first feature film. He was in a couple of other movies. He was actually in the third Chronicles of Riddick movie.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, and he was in The Man with the Iron Fist, as well as a couple of other things like The Scorpion King 3.
Oh god, why would you be
I
in
didn't
that?
even know there were 3 of them.
Why would you be in
and
that?
a bunch of other stuff. He also apparently did an episode of Smallville in 2006.
I could see him being on TV for something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't realize he was in The Man with the Iron Fist. That's one of the movies that's on my list I wanted to see when it came out, and it never came out here, so I'll have to go check it out one of these days.
I still gotta check that out. You're right.
Let's go to the box office numbers here. The opening weekend is 94,320,000. The domestic box office total was 333,176,000. And our final total for worldwide is 773,328,000. For a film that had no build-up to it, for characters that no one knew that existed until this movie, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. I remember going and seeing this in the theaters, and I honestly had no idea what to expect because nobody really knew Guardians of the Galaxy, and it blew me the fuck away. Like to take for all intents and purposes, like as close to an original IP as you can get into a movie and have it be that fantastic. Kudos, guys. Kudos. You fucking rocked it.
I gotta say that prior to this film, my only experience with Guardians of the Galaxy was Rocket Raccoon in Marvel vs. Capcom, and the one episode they showed up in on Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And in that episode, they were really stiff and boring, so I didn't have high expectations at first. But when I saw the trailers and the music and all that, I'm like, okay, they've changed a few things around. Let's see what this turns into. And I couldn't have been happier with this. This is perfect right here for me when I saw it, because I think this was just before Star Wars became was brought back into prominence by Disney, so we didn't really have any big space adventures going on at the time of this caliber, and this one definitely filled the void that was definitely needed to be filled.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah.
So yeah. Let's go ahead and finish up real quick. It is number 3 of 2014. Last week we said it was just above Winter Soldier. It's also just behind The Mockingjay. I don't remember if that was part 1 or part 2. Is that one of the ones that was split? I don't remember. Whatever. It's behind a Mockingjay movie, but we'll just go with that. And of the MCU, it is number 7.
Ooh, that is
top half. That's pretty solid work.
In terms of gross or in terms of somebody's ranking?
Domestic gross.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I think Black Panther, I don't want to bring it back to that movie too much, but I think that is poised to probably take it over based on the pre-order numbers, but that's just pre-order, or pre-ticket sales. We'll see if it can hold it beyond that first opening weekend. Though, given all the buzz for it, given the high reviews, I would not be surprised if this movie, Black Panther, overtakes a few of the big names in this list, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, this will be good to hear. This will be good to see.
All right, are you ready for a brief synopsis?
Man, all right, here we go.
Now, I'm going to warn you here. I don't feel this is as funny as my previous ones, but I gotta say, it's hard to really do any kind of topical political humor with a movie that takes place in space and has almost nothing to do with anything in politics or real life. So, I tried my best. We'll see how this goes. Alright. The year, 1988. A young boy, Peter, loses his mom from what is believed to be cancer, but the sequel will drastically change the emotional beats of this scene and Peter's arc. Wanting to escape from his emotional hell, he's abducted by aliens, who we learn are the Ravagers led by Yondu. Their job is to take this young man to his space dad, but plans change, which will also be explained more in the sequel. And Peter becomes part of the Ravagers for the better part of the next, not shown on screen, 26 years. We see Peter, then as a man-child, obsessing over his jams while he is looking for the MacGuffin Stones. He tries to get his name out there, but no one respects the title of Star-Lord, man. Also wanting the MacGuffin Stone, Thanos, who has hired MC Hammer to go and not touch that stone, but rather bring it to him. Hammer gives a green woman, one of Thanos' illegitimate daughters, to fetch the quest to fetch the stone. Because this sounds like work, and that's how he's about, yo. Green Girl and Star-Lord arrive on Xanadu? Xanax? The planet, after Star-Lord fails to sell his MacGuffin Stone. Green Girl attempts to steal it, but is thwarted by Trash King and his friend Vin Treasel. They attempt to capture Star-Lord, because Yondu put a bounty on him for his betrayal. However, all 4 of them are captured and imprisoned because various crimes they committed before the opening act. Here they meet Batista, who I'm just going to call Drax for short because that actually is shorter, who literally cannot deal with your metaphors right now, man, and wants to kill the Green Girl, who we learn is named Gamora, but I'm calling her Gamma Ray because it's slightly funnier. The 5 of them stumble through a jailbreak when Gamma Ray reveals the MacGuffin Stone will sell for 4 billion units, which translates to a lot of Benjamins, if you know what I mean. They fly off to Planet Head, while MC Hammer and Yondu separately are on their trail. On Planet Head, weird emotional beats are brought up to humanize our alien friends, but that moment is cut short as the plot threads are trying to tie together all the MacGuffin Stones, and they're finally explained. The Collector's Collection House is collectively exploded, and our team have to run. But a stone's throw away is MC Hammer, called in by Drax for a hell in the head. But Drax also can't touch that. Gamma Ray's sister, Discount Terminator, steals the orb and leaves Gamma Ray to die in space. Star-Lord saves her, and somehow survives the vacuum of space himself, which will also be explained in the sequel. Yondu picks him up, eventually meeting with them with the rest of the team. Meanwhile, stone in hand, MC Hammer betrays Thanos because it's cool to back out on your record contracts like that. He aims to destroy the planet. The Guardians have a moment of a touching speech about how crap their lives are before devising a plan to stop MC Hammer. Teaming up with the Ravagers and Space Cops, we get a decent aerial battle while the Guardians break into MC Hammer's ship. Vin Treasel kicks ass and steals the scene before sacrificing himself when the ship crashes. Heroes believe that the day is saved, but MC Hammer is out to prove that he isn't a one-hit wonder. Star-Lord attempts his pelvic sorcery before snatching the MacGuffin Stone from MC Hammer. For reasons we learn next time on Dragon Ball Z, Star-Lord can actually hold on to the stone, with his friends holding on to him. Using the powers of friendship, Captain Planet vanquishes MC Hammer, and effectively, the late 80s, only to open his mother's gift at the end of the film. With a note that gives him a satisfying narrative arc. Baby Treasel dances to Jackson 5 while the Guardians venture back into the galaxy to cause more trouble. We leave the Collector being consoled by George Lucas presents Howard the Duck, because he's Marvel now and they can totally get away with that. The end.
Yay!
I remember when they first showed or when people were first discussing that end credits thing, everyone's kind of salty that it wasn't a big Marvel reveal for the next thing. And everyone's like, listen, they're trying to celebrate by showing they could get away with this, and they're trying to show they can celebrate by showing Howard the Duck, which is like the most resented piece of Marvel cinema so far. So yeah, let's go with that. So Ryan, what do you think of the film?
Howard.
What do you think of the film?
Oh man, I am mad. I was upset by this film because apparently it's better than I remember. And I'm kind of salty because I just so this is it's a very interesting phenomenon when you go back to a movie and you like it. You like it when you see it in theaters and it's really good, but then years removed later you actually watch it outside of that kind of new movie atmosphere, and you catch a lot of the kind of the subtle work that went into the movie, and it becomes even better. I can't really tell you other movies that's happened to me.
No, I get you. A lot of that is kind of similar to a good example would be I don't think it matches exactly, but I think a good example is Cabin in the Woods. You go and see it one time, and you're really fascinated by the twist and all that stuff. Then you go back again and watch it, and not only are you aware of the twist, but you're seeing all the mechanics that lead up to it. You're seeing all the little Easter eggs everywhere, and you're suddenly enjoying it on a whole nother level. Even more so, possibly, because of all this extra knowledge you have of what's going to happen. And I think that's pretty cool. And I think, while this movie isn't quite in line with how that works, I think it's got a very similar kind of, expansion of enjoyment based on how many times you're going to come back to see it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you there. And it's not so much that I was catching little Easter eggs this time around, but honestly, the what really struck me was how well everything worked together. Like honestly, the balance of humor and just like badass space opera nonsense and like actual drama, it was all kind of perfectly weighted against each other, and it came together really really well. I mean, I thought I guess like in the initial viewing I was really caught by the humor, and it was very funny, but I was so caught in that I wasn't really absorbing everything else and seeing how well that was actually really portrayed. So I loved I kind I the when the line when Rocket is in the bar and he's drunk and he's like pissed, but he's also really sad and he's crying and he's like, I didn't ask to be made. That actually hit me harder this time. And I know all about Rocket's story, I've seen it. But this actually hit me harder, like, just for how well it was set in the movie. So.
And to add to that, too, this is the first time any of these characters have ever been portrayed in film. And it's amazing that in one go, they're able to balance out these 5 characters with enough screen time to give each of them a good moment of badassery, a good moment of character development, and just basically show how they bounce off one another. And it's really weird to believe that it took Avengers several films before they could actually think themselves ready to do that with just the main Avengers characters. Justice League can't even do that with all the stuff they got going on. And Guardians of the Galaxy is like, fuck that, we can do it in one movie. Here we go.
Well, so I feel like the difference between those two scenarios is that everybody knows Iron Man. Everybody knows who Captain America is and who Thor is. So I feel like they had to balance who everybody knew these characters were and kind of develop alongside of that in order to get it to a place where they could throw everybody together and just have it work. You wanted to...
It's definitely a different scenario.
Right. I mean, also you wanted to build up hype for, like, what was going to be, like, the first multi-movie franchise of its kind at that time. I mean, when they threw out Iron Man, how fucking hype did everybody get who stayed to the end and saw Nick Fury and said, I'd like to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative? How many people lost their goddamn minds just thinking about the fact that they were actually going to do an Avengers film? So I can see the build-up that they wanted and that they needed to have, but with Guardians, they're essentially starting with a blank slate.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they said,
no.
all right, we're just going to go. Like, a couple of people know these guys from the comics, and that's awesome, but the vast majority of people don't know who the fuck these people are. So
it's funny you bring that up because in the comics they aren't really all that popular. Actually, until this movie came out, the Guardians were considered one of the lesser known characters of Marvel, and their roster was always changing. Their stories were always getting rebooted to some extent. So the Guardians were never really all that popular. So when the movie was announced, I feel like a lot of people were surprised that it even was going to happen. And according to James Gunn in a recent interview, he said that if X-Men or the Fantastic Four had already been part of Marvel at that point, Guardians probably never would have happened. I think it was just because they only did it because they had an empty space in the schedule, and they're like, well, a lot of our big heroes aren't really available, and we don't have anything planned for the ones we already have at the moment. Let's try this out, and here we are now.
That's really cool. I like it when essentially you try something and like out of nowhere it actually works out really really well. I could if I hadn't heard that, I could have told you, like, I would have said, oh well, they probably planned for Guardians of the Galaxy so that they can really get a great look at the whole cosmic side of Marvel and open up the idea that there's a whole fucking universe out there that humanity is not aware of. We're going to show you the other side of it Because if we're going to have Thanos show up, then it's good to have some background to say, oh, there's a fucking space tyrant that's actually a fucking Titan, and he's coming to wreck our shit. So it makes sense to showcase it.
This movie does a fantastic job setting up the cosmic side of things, which is definitely needed. Thor tried doing that a little bit in their films, but obviously it's kind of stuck with the Asgard, Midgard dynamic where it can't break too far from that. So this film definitely allows them to stretch their arms a little bit and be like, okay, listen, here's the rest of the cosmic stuff. Let's show you how crazy this shit is. And they do a great job with it. In a short amount of time, you see all these different worlds, different planets, these different species, this whole jail full of all these different kind of creatures. You see all these different factions involved. You see Thanos isn't just some dude in a chair, but he's like some kind of intergalactic, like, fucking gangster of some sort. It's ridiculous just how much happens here in such a short amount of time. Like, they just blow through it really quick, but the pacing never feels rushed. It actually feels like they do a really good job keeping that pacing pretty steady.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. And I think it's because of the fact that they had such a blank slate to work with that they didn't have to spend a whole bunch of time establishing every single character. Like, the big setup that you get in the beginning of the movie is Peter Quill, and you only need 5 minutes of story to say that this poor, unfortunate boy, his mother was dying of cancer when he was, like, fucking 9, and he actually watched her die, and in the process of running away from that, he got picked up by aliens. And now he's a space pirate. That's it. That's the entire setup you need. And I love it.
Can I just say that if I ever had anything bad happen in my life, I would be picked up by aliens and become a space pirate? I would pay for that, even. Can we make that happen, space people? If you're listening?
Seriously. Can we? I mean...
Even if it's the Starjammers, I'll take it. They're fine. But no, so... going back into the characters here a little bit, so... yes, Star-Lord is pretty much your main character, so he's the one who gets the biggest emotional beats and definitely gets the most background. But the other characters get a pretty decent amount, too. You have Drax, where you get his family's backstory, which takes aspects of the original comics, but definitely switches up a little bit, because the comic version is batshit insane and weird.
For real?
So, the plot still is kind of the same, except in the comic scenario... I believe Thanos comes to Earth and kills his family. I don't remember what the reason is. I think they may have just been collateral damage. I think even he might die in that at some point. He's somehow brought back as this weird other life form. So he was human at one point. He's brought back as some other life form, which is nothing like the Drax we have here. Drax looks completely different in his original incarnation with a weird-ass cape and different skin colors. It was weird. They rebooted him a couple times to what he's at now, and to be fair, what he's at now is very, very simple, but far less powerful than he used to be.
Okay, that makes sense.
Gamora is basically the same as her comic incarnation, from what I understand. Daughter of Thanos, illegitimately so. I think they said that her
adopted.
Yeah, right. Illegitimate, adopted, kind of same difference. In the case of Thanos, anyway. But yeah, and then there's Rocket and Groot, who, let's be fair, they kind of steal the show for the scenes they show up in, which is pretty cool. It's amazing to believe that kids got to see Rocket Raccoon and Groot and made them super popular, like, figures in, like, superhero comic movies before Wonder Woman even got on screen. That's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that is quite fucking ridiculous, but yeah.
But no, I gotta give shoutouts to, especially to Vin Diesel, who... I've never been the biggest fan of Vin Diesel. I don't hate him, but I'm not the biggest fan. But to make 3 little words, his whole lines, and convey so much emotions and so much thought behind each of those, like, expressions, that's impressive. Good work, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, no, Vin Diesel definitely could have phoned it in. I mean, it's the easiest fucking acting job on the planet. But he really put in work, and he... like, the fact that he sat there... not only recorded the same line like hundreds of times to get the different inflections and emotions, but also recorded it in various languages so that it was always Vin Diesel's voice that you heard in the fucking movie.
It was probably cheaper that way, honestly.
Like, Like, not only did he save Marvel a bunch of movie, but it really showcases how seriously he took the role. And man, Vin Diesel, you're my hero. And he plays D&D. Get the fuck out of here. He's so cool.
Fucking trivia fact here for you, Ryan. So in the script, when they asked him to read, it didn't say "I am Groot" for all of his lines. It literally had in parentheses what emotional beat he was supposed to be like speaking towards. It would kind of give a vague description of what he's supposed to kind of like be expressing or feeling, and that's how he knew how to say his line. So it was never just "I am Groot" throughout the entire script. It was actually very detailed. It was kind of interesting that they did it that way.
Nice, I like that.
But yeah, so that's the story behind Groot there, and my God, so like I said, they steal the scene with him a few times. Like early on when he's stealing the battery from the jail, the prison. That's fucking fantastic.
And all credit where credit's due. I think that Bradley Cooper was the perfect choice for Rocket Raccoon, because as much as I love Vin Diesel and as much as I love what he did with Groot, you can't really do Groot by himself.
No,
so
you can't.
like Rocket, like Bradley Cooper's rendition of Rocket was the perfect foil for it. I felt like it bounced off like absolutely perfect.
They make a great duo.
God damn, Bradley Cooper was he was so clutch. He delivered it so well. It's hilarious, and it's all it's sarcastic, and it's really funny, but at the same time he brings a lot of emotion to the role as well. So goddamn.
Alright, so before we get to the stuff that does not work, Ronan, let's go ahead and discuss, real quick, just the biggest emotional beats of the film, because those are pretty important, I think.
Alright.
So first up is when, we already discussed a little bit, when they're at the planet in the Celestial's head, nowhere, that's it. And they're all drunk, and they're all kind of expressing their backstories a little bit, with Rocket regretting, or not regretting, but expressing how no one understands what it's like to not want to be made, and with Drax being kind of broken about his family having been killed. So that's a pretty big beat there. But the other one I want to mention too is when Groot sacrifices himself for the whole team in the climax of the film. That moment right there was something I didn't fully expect to happen in the first fucking film, but they built up to it and they delivered on it pretty hard, and I gotta say, I'm impressed with that one.
Oh my god, fucking We Are Groot. Dead. Tears. A ripper of tears in theater. That's it. It's the end of it.
Like, as sad as it was, we knew he was going to come back, but just the act of it happening was still pretty damn, like, just a jab in the heart right there, so.
I mean, and it's also really cool to see, like, because Groot's a complex character. Like, he's actually, like as dumb as he is, and I love him, but he's dumb as a prick. As dumb as he is, he's actually really complex. And you see, like, these moments of, like, childlike wonder and just joy and hilarity compared to him spearing 8 dudes in the chest with his arm and then using them to beat 20 other dudes while yelling in rage. And that's Groot! That's entirely Groot! And it just... I
was actually talking to Amanda.
Perfectly.
I was talking to Amanda when we were watching this movie. I think Groot might have the highest body count of any Marvel character.
Yeah, no, he was killing dudes left and right.
Like, without even
Straight
reservation. Up. He just went for it. I'm like, okay, you know what, Groot? You're adorable and fun, but stay the fuck away from me. Okay. So, we got those out, right? So, let's talk about Ronan the Accuser real quick. So, when it comes to the Marvel aliens, the Skrulls, the Krees, the Chitauri, all that stuff, I gotta admit, Ryan, I am not a fan of the Kree. I've watched them in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I've read about them in the comics. I know that they're the origins to Captain Marvel originally, but I don't know if they're going to change that for the film. Like I said, I'm not a fan of them. I think of the Marvel aliens they have to pick from, they're kind of the most boring ones because they just seem kind of plain for the most part. The Skrulls are definitely way more interesting. I know they couldn't really do them for this film.
Yeah, you can't. You got to work up to the Skrulls. Jesus Christ.
I know. But Ronan the Accuser, as big a name as he's supposed to be among the Kree, he just fell kind of flat for me. He wasn't horrible by any means.
Did he?
I think he was still a little more interesting than Malekith. I think the guy who played the role was at least trying to act the character, but I just didn't really feel like he was too genuine a threat overall.
Well, I don't know. So all right, so let's be perfectly honest. Ronan honestly is just there because the movie needed a villain.
Oh yeah, no,
like
I know,
straight
I
up,
know.
like straight up. The core piece of the film is the group.
And you couldn't make it Yondu because he's overpowered as fuck.
Man, Yondu! Oh my god, we'll talk about him a little bit. Yondu is the best. But I feel like Ronan is essentially stand-in for, you know, requisite bad guy in a fucking superhero film. But I actually like how overboard he took the character. I mean, like you said, the Kree are kind of bland and just straight-faced and not really super interesting. So I like that he played it kind of overboard. I thought it was really funny.
Oh,
he was never like terrifying to me. It was just funny to watch him like, I will cure it, and I'm like, yeah, no, okay, I can dig it. It's overblown, but I can dig it. It's just fun, and to see that play off of the goofiness inherent in the Guardians, like, honestly, the best, like, one of the most ridiculous comedic scenes is like towards the very end when Ronan's on the fucking planet Xandar with the fucking Power Stone and he's about to kill everybody, and Peter fucking challenges him to a dance-off, and Ronan's there fucking dumbstruck, and he's like, What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, the first one is perfect, because, like, the second one, of course, he starts getting overblown, like, what are you doing? But the first one, it's almost like he breaks character. It's almost just like, what are you doing? Wait, what's happening right now?
It's a distraction, you big dummy.
Why are you moving your hips like that? Wait, what? What's happening?
I believe the correct term is pelvic sorcery.
It was perfect. I felt like having that overblown of a villain, having an overblown villain that kind of knows he's being overblown to the point where he can kind of play into it is much more preferable than a dude that should have some iota of charisma and gives me absolutely nothing, Malekith.
Yeah. No, now that you mentioned it, yeah, he does fit this film's more goofy, lighthearted tone. You couldn't have gotten a villain like, say, Joker or Two-Face, like, kind of seriousness in here, and expect that movie to sit well, because that would have been, like, two different tones, and it wouldn't have worked. So I get what you're saying. So I can jump on that boat there with you. So yeah, Yondu. If you want to go on that one a little bit.
Oh my god, Yondu. So I watched this movie with my roommate. And, he had seen it before, obviously. He hadn't seen Guardians 2, which we watched immediately after Guardians, which I thought was hilarious. But he was so mad at that goddamn arrow. Because that arrow was the most powerful thing in the galaxy, apparently. But I thought it was perfect. I didn't think it was overused. I felt like especially in the first movie, he threatens it just enough to oh, that's a really interesting weapon. Oh, that's a really interesting weapon. And every time he even motions towards it, everybody's like, holy shit, don't do anything. So getting that one scene of him tearing off like a dozen fucking dudes and a ship while whistling a jaunty tune, I felt worked absolutely perfectly.
And I'll agree that the arrow is definitely overpowered. It makes you wonder why Peter thinks it's a wise idea to betray Yondu at all, knowing he has his destructive force just in his back pocket.
Because he knows he can talk his way out of it, out of Yondu, and his and Yondu's relationship is so goddamn interesting, and we'll talk about that more in the sequel. But
I honestly can't wait for that sequel. There's so much to talk about that we can't really discuss here.
There's a lot of shit to talk about in the sequel, and holy hell, it's fantastic. but yeah, no. It's never that. Like, I don't think Yandu is ever portrayed as just the super ridiculously fearsome dude that you never want to cross. Like, he has enough, like, kind of humor and frivolity about him that people can, like, interact with him on a normal level, but if his hand goes towards the arrow, that's when you shut the fuck up, because he can kill you with, like, by making a sound at that point. So it's like, it's not the entirety of his character, it's just a shade of it. And I thought they balanced that really well.
Before we get on a review roundup, because we are getting a little long here.
Sorry. It's just so good!
Well, to be fair, 15 minutes of this was talking about Black Panther. No, so before we get going, last few things I want to point out is, one, this is probably the best music soundtrack we've had of the Marvel films thus
hands
far.
down, dude.
Hands down. Visually speaking, I think the CGI here was on the A game, if not higher. Like, literally everything looked like a beautiful picture on screen, so no complaints there either. Are there any other final points you want to make before we move on? Oh yeah, one more I wanted to bring up actually. The Infinity Stones. We actually get to see one in full action on its own. No staff, no cube, no oozy weird bullshit. Were you satisfied with this stone, Ryan?
You know what? This was the first stone. No, not the first. I won't say the first, but this is like, this Infinity Stone actually felt like a goddamn Infinity Stone. Like, after the Aether and my unending complaints about how weak this thing seems to be, the Power Stone did not disappoint. Absolutely not. That was a spooky fucking thing that showed up, and I loved it.
Yeah, we'll have more of those coming, actually next week, so look forward to more Infinity Stone talk Infinity MacGuffin talk, as we proceed through the rest of the movies here, because it's going to become a much bigger deal as Phase 3 hits home.
Definitely. Oh, my one small gripe, like, not even really a gripe, but the one thing that I wish they could have had more of, and I understand that they couldn't really squeeze it in, but yeah, whatever, is that I wish Gamora had gotten a little bit more of a personal, a personal character dive, like a personal arc, because, like, you get to see her relax around, like, and become a part of the group, which is really, really awesome. You get to see her, like, get closer to Peter and develop that kind of unspoken thing, which is really, really awesome. But you don't really get that deep introspective moment where, like, she gives you a portion of her personal struggle in this movie. And to be fair, they definitely go into that in the sequel, which we can't talk about yet. But in this movie, I wish they would have given her just, like, one personal character beat. Just one.
I was going to say, Gamora does not get a huge amount of play here, but it sort of makes sense. She sort of exists to move the plot forward here. But in the sequel, she definitely gets more of that going on, because I think they stopped worrying about plot and they focus more on just making every character have their own moments, their own beats, and their own story. But that's more sequel talk, so we'll get to that next time. Ooh. But that is definitely, I would say, the Achilles heel of this movie, if it has any Achilles heel to speak of.
Also, quick question, just because I want to hear what you think. What did you think of Nebula?
In this film?
Yeah.
She was okay. I liked the moment where, after she's blown up by the rocket, she's reforming back into herself. I forgot that moment even happened, and when I saw it again, I'm like, oh, she's kind of like the Terminator. That's fucking cool. I would say that she doesn't get enough to do here either. They definitely set her up for something to happen, and that rivalry is there. But when the sequel comes, you know there's... and she's back. He's like, okay, they're going to give her more to do, and this is going to be way more interesting than it was the first time around.
Yeah. It's hilarious because I feel like in terms of personal arcs, they developed Nebula more than they did Gamora, and specifically because they play off each other so well. It's like every time Nebula tries to do something, Gamora's like, nah, I'ma fucking do it. And Nebula just gets to be shady. Just gets to be salty as fuck. And like, you only get like 3 seconds of it, but that's it. That's all you need. Like, when Ronan goes and like actually like talks with Thanos about like how Gamora essentially like betrayed them all, and Thanos says, your bullshit has alienated my favorite daughter," and Nebula's just like, wow.
Yeah, I forgot he dropped that line when I first saw the movie. Seeing it again, I noticed it. I'm like, oh man, she's right there, dude. You know that, right? Like, you have to know that.
And the perfect answer to that was that after everything, she gets up and says, "Thanks, Dad. Sounds fair." It's just like, that's it. Like 4 words, and you already know a little bit more about where she sits in like this kind of social structure and how salty she is about it, but how resigned she is to it. And that definitely gets played up a lot more in the sequel, but I thought it was just enough of a taste to make me want to know more about Nebula. So yeah.
Have you read the original Infinity War comic at all?
I have not.
So in the comic, I don't want to spoil. Well, I guess I can't really spoil because I don't know how much the movie's going to take from it. But there's a moment in the comic where you see this broken down person thing. I don't know what it really is or how you describe it, but it's revealed to be Thanos' I believe sister in the comic, but I think it's for lack of a better term supposed to be what Nebula is. And in there they explain that he's been torturing her with the Infinity Stone, the Infinity Gauntlet, for his own amusement while trying to kill off the rest of the universe to court death. I'm not going to get into all that story for those who have not seen the comic originally. That's a long story I'll get into some other time. But during the battle, Thanos lets his guard down, and he puts the gauntlet down because Death asks him to. And this woman, who I'm assuming is supposed to be Nebula, takes it and then proceeds to torture Thanos and tries to kill the universe herself as revenge, forcing Thanos to work with the heroes to fucking fix his problem. And I don't know if they're going to do that in the movie, but if they do, they're really kind of building Nebula up for that. I'd be interested to see if they play with that or not. That'd be cool. I don't expect it to happen, but...
Based on what I saw in Guardians 2, I doubt it. But let's save that. Let's save that. Bring that up in the Guardians 2 podcast.
Yes. So we'll cut that there for now. We got to get to the review roundup, and I'm going to get really quick. So Ryan, the tomato meter shows 91% for the critics and 92% for the audience. This is probably one of the higher rated ones we've seen in a while.
God damn, that makes sense. It does.
And then I'll head over to the top critics of Rotten Tomatoes right now. Kenneth Turin of the Los Angeles Times. Blessed with a loose, anarchic B-picture soul that encourages you to enjoy yourself even when you're not quite sure what's going on. The Scruffy Guardians is irreverent in a way that can bring the first Star Wars to mind.
That's actually really good. That's actually a really good
spot
description
on.
of it. Yeah. An irreverent B, like the irreverent soul of a B movie. Oh my god, that's actually really well said.
Let's see, what's another one who we follow quite a bit on here? Let's see, what about Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune? It's looser, scruffier, and more overly comic than the average Marvel action fantasy. 3 out of 4. That's fair. We'll hit one negative review before we move on. Kyle Smith of the New York Post gave it a 1 out of 4. Guardians of the Galaxy brings to mind some of the most unforgettable sci-fi event movies of the last 30 years. Alas, those films are Howard the Duck and Green Lantern.
Hater! Ooh, bite your tongue! What?
I can understand Howard the Duck for the cameo. I'm not going to fault him on that one. But Green Lantern, come on, that's fighting words. Those are fighting words.
Hater! I will fight you, sir. Pistols at dawn. Let's go.
Tom Huddleston reviewed this one. Look at him real quick. We've talked about him a couple times. From Time Out, to misquote Forrest Gump's mother, Guardians of the Galaxy is like a box of chocolates. Or rather, it's like a vast family-sized festive crate of chocolates, all wrapped in the shiniest packaging, all exploding with sweetness and surprises.
Nice.
Had to end it on a good note, and I actually loved how long that was. It was good. So that's a review roundup. Let's move on to our listener question of the week, Ryan. We're going to get a little serious here for a minute.
Oh, boy.
So I didn't get any responses. of course, because none of you guys want to answer the questions that really matter, but that's fine.
Guys.
That's fine. This week's question of the week, and I'll cut in. Let me write that down. Actually, what the fuck's a 10? I'll write down 5:54:30 for cut in. So the question of the week this week was: does America, the country, deserve a hero like Captain America? Ryan, I'll let you start with this one.
Oh boy, are you sure? Because I can talk a minute on this.
Give me a minute. Let's see what you got.
All right. So the big point of this question comes from the word deserve. Whether or not that means that, like, are we as a country, like, worthy of such a fantastic hero, like, worthy of such a pinnacle of truth and justice and just good old-fashioned human decency. With a lot of the stuff that's currently going on, and if we're to base it on our current actions, probably not. However, I will say that Captain America represents the ideals that America was founded upon, and like the ideals that the country was the ideas that the founding fathers wanted to pursue and embody. He embodies all of those, like, he embodies essentially the soul of what America at its core wants to be. And I feel like if you get past all of the bickering, all of the politics, and all of the bullshit, that is truly what America actually stands for, ego aside. So I feel like, and a lot of his conflict comes from the fact that now, in modern times, he is a reflection of just how far the country has strayed away from that, from the general idea of what it was founded on. So, do we deserve a hero like Captain America? Currently, I'm gonna say no, but I believe we can grow to deserve him, because we started out deserving him in the first place.
I think my answer is going to be a little different.
Okay.
So, I'm ignoring the Trump administration, I'm ignoring the government, because I don't think the government should be what decides whether we deserve or not deserve a hero like Captain America, because if you ask any rational person out there, they would agree, I don't think they would agree, but they would definitely have some sentiment that the government isn't working. It isn't the way they want things to go. A lot of people, myself included, don't believe that the senators and congressmen have our best interest in mind. They don't believe Trump has ever had our best interest in mind. And the approval ratings for the Senate and Congress have never been all that high to begin with, and Trump isn't any better now either. I don't think you can base that deserving quality on the government actions. I think what America, to me, it's the people. It's you, me, the people down the street who, you know, are trying to feed their kids on the minimal wage salaries they got, or the people in bad neighborhoods who are dealing with violence, on ethnic violence day in and day out, or the people who are just oppressed by the higher class people. I think that if you look at the people who are in the worst of situations, they deserve someone like Captain America to step in and help them out. They deserve someone like Captain America to stand up for what America should be and be the exemplar to the people who are in charge, the people who don't have their heads on straight or up their ass so far they can't see the sunshine. We need someone like him to represent and kind of guide us in the right direction. I don't think America as a whole would ever actually be the same level as Captain America. I don't think that that ideal is ever really attainable. But definitely he should something like that should exist to at least push us in the right direction, or at least kind of guide us, rather than having us stumble around in the dark trying to figure out where our big buttons are at.
Okay. Alright. I can see that.
So yeah, that's kind of my take on it. But yeah, that's our serious little moment here in our goofy, fun Guardians podcast. Do we have anything else to add to that, Ryan?
No, I think we said it all, honestly.
And just to be fair, this question does not necessarily bear our political leanings. We're not gonna get political on you guys. This is just a interesting question that the Captain America films number 2 and number 3 more so tackle. And I felt like it was a good time to bring those up before we get to Civil War. Because I have a much bigger question for Civil War we're gonna hit, but that won't be for a while. That won't be for a little while.
Oh boy.
But I do have a question for you next week, Ryan, and this is gonna be way more fun.
Let me hear it.
Which song or playlist from the Marvel films do you enjoy most and why?
Ooh.
Because this movie introduced us to some of the best music that we've seen so far, I felt this was very fitting and a good way to kind of, break from last week's tension.
Yes. No, I will think on that one.
Okay, so make sure you come back to us with Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, or evacstation@gmail.com with your answers for what the best Marvel song or playlist from the movies you think is. And with that, Ryan, it's time to finally hit up everyone's favorite segment, the Trivia War. Here we are.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm getting us on time here. This is the part of the podcast where we ask each other questions, one easy, one medium, and one hard. And we're going to see who the best Marvel lorester is here. Right now, Ryan is leading me by, I believe it is... Shit, where'd I put those points at? Here they are. 14-9. He's got a 5-point lead. I intend to catch up this week, everybody, and you'll see how in just a minute.
Oh boy.
So, Ryan, are you ready for your first question?
I am ready, as I will ever be.
Alright. First question, Ryan. What are the names of the twins that work for Ultron?
Oh, what the fuck? What am I, a moron? Alright, their code names are Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Oh my god, if I can't remember these people's actual fucking names. Hold on. Damn it.
I mean, to be fair, it's the easy question, so you did get the codenames. I'd be willing to give you the point for that one.
Alright, cool, I'll take those! Oh god.
The full names, for those who are interested, are Wanda Maximoff and Pietro Maximoff.
Wanda and Pietro, Jesus Christ. Wow, it's been that long.
The reason I remember that so well is because that's the names they always used in X-Men Evolution. I could never forget that.
Wanda and Pietro, of course.
So I remember Quicksilver would always freak out whenever Scarlet Witch showed up. He's always like, "Wanda, you're here! Oh my god!"
For some reason, I couldn't get the name Natasha out of my head, and I'm like, "No, that's Natasha Romanoff, Ryan."
That's you mean Natalie Portman?
Get your ass! Oh my god!
Call back
one time.
All right, Ryan. What's my easy question?
All right, your easy question is what? Okay. What is the what version of Iron Man's armor is present in Age of Ultron? What's the mark number?
Are we talking like the one he's wearing normally, or are we talking like the Hulkbuster?
Normal.
Okay. Okay, so the last one was 42. I'm assuming it's a higher number than that, right?
That would be a correct assumption.
Okay. I can't think of it off the top of my head. This is an easy question, huh? Jesus. I'm gonna go with let's see. It's gonna say 64.
Okay. So that's actually incorrect. It's actually just 43.
It really just went up one? Holy fuck!
It's just a recolored and slightly upgraded version, man. It's not.
I thought maybe he'd done a whole bunch since then because he's built a bunch of shit. So.
He overthunk it. He overthunk it.
Fair enough. All right, Ryan, your medium question.
Right.
I only want. It's a list question. I only need 4 answers. What are the aliases of the person who originally created Ultron?
Ooh, okay. Well, his real name is Hank Pym. Like, for real. Like, the actual creator of Ultron. His real name is Hank Pym. He also went by Ant-Man. He also went by... Fuck. I want to say Giant Man. I want to say Giant Man because that was his fucking gigantic form. What was the?
See, I don't want to react because I wanted to let him know he's doing good or bad. I want to see how far he goes.
Hold up. God damn it. Hank Pym has been so many goddamn people.
That's why I thought this was a fun question.
No, it's a very good question. It's a very good question. Shit. I'm pretty sure Giant Man is a real one. I'm pretty sure Giant Man is a real one. Oh my god, I can't think of any other ones. You're gonna say them, and I'm going to
all right.
beat myself in the face.
So Hank Pym has been known as Ant-Man, Giant Man,
Yes.
Goliath, Yellow Jacket, Scientist Supreme, and most recently, he's also been known as Ultron himself.
Wait, what? Hank Pym became Ultron?
I'm not going to explain it because I've tried looking into it and it's confusing as shit.
The fuck? Okay, alright. I straight up almost said Yellow Jacket, but I don't know much about Hank Pym, so I was just like, nah, I think Yellow Jacket was actually one of his rivals. Nah, fuck it. Alright. So that
Yellow Jacket's the one I'm most
that
familiar
one.
with, so I knew that one, but...
Alright, I lost that one. Alright, sir.
What is my medium question?
So your medium question. In Age of Ultron, we actually get a brief look into Clint, aka Hawkeye's, personal life, in which he has a wife and actual 2 children. What is his wife's name?
I knew that was going to be as soon as you mentioned Hawkeye's family. That's the only movie they've been in, too. Fuck. Let's see. I don't suppose I can get a first letter like I did last time for Meredith, right?
I will give you her first name begins with an L.
An L, okay. So I was going over names in my head, but Larry popped in my head. I'm like, no, that's not a fucking girl name. Fuck
Larry Burton.
I'm gonna go with Lily.
Unfortunately, the name is Laura. Laura Barton.
Okay. I'm getting my ass kicked on these questions this week. Okay. Ryan, your hard question. Are you ready for this?
Alright, let's do it.
You might actually get this, and I'll be very impressed if you do. Can you explain why Iron Man calls his Hulkbuster Veronica?
What?
Yeah, in the movie, he gives the Hulkbuster armor a codename Veronica. Can you explain why he does this?
What the? Veronica? Holy
Yeah.
shit, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The answer is really obvious once you realize what it is, but it wouldn't be the first thing you'd think of. I'll admit it right here.
I'm trying to rack my brain just like what relation this has to Bruce Banner, the Hulk, Veronica. Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what is it?
So it's an Archie Comics reference. Only Betty and Veronica can ever really get Archie to do what they want him to do. So in this case, Betty from the first Hulk movie and this Hulkbuster, Veronica, can stop the Hulk and make him do what they want to do.
That's so good. Oh,
like
that's
I said,
really good.
Like I said, once it's explained, it's like, oh, that makes fucking sense, but like you wouldn't think of it.
Oh, that's so good. All right, good question. Damn, okay, shit. Okay, all right.
If I get this 3-pointer, I'll at least know that you didn't get ahead of me too much more.
All right. So, I'm wondering if this question is too hard. If it is,
oh god.
Okay.
Is
twins.
Is the answer Japan?
No, but it's actually closer than you think. The twins in the movie, played by Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson, had actually met in the movie they did before Age of Ultron. Came out the year before. What movie is this?
The only thing I know he's been in is Kick-Ass. I'm trying to remember what she's been in. I don't think it's Kick-Ass, obviously. I don't remember her being in that at all.
So remember the hint you inadvertently gave yourself.
Oh, Japan. Okay. Huh. What? So let's see. This is 2015. So this is a 2014 movie.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not going to Google a list of 2014 movies, so that would super help right now. Let's see. So when you say the clue is Japan, are we talking like this is an anime, or are we talking like this is still live action?
It's live action.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because if it was anime, I could be here all day trying to guess this. Let's see.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. Oh my god.
Yeah. I know it's not that, because that came out a couple years sooner. Shit, I'm trying to think of what it would be now. Because the first that comes to my mind is Scott Pilgrim, but that was years ago, and I don't think either of these two are in it. That's the one thing I think of when I think of Japan-ish style movie, almost.
Yeah, nah.
I know.
That would be the wrong year.
That's why I'm a little stumped. I'm pretty sure when I hear it, I'm going to be like, fuck, why didn't I think of that? But I can't think of what it would be at the moment.
Are you passing, sir?
I'm going to have to pass. I don't have any way to figure this one out.
Alright, so they actually met while filming the 2014 release of Godzilla.
That's the one with Bryan Cranston in it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna admit I didn't see that one. I really wanted to, but then I heard that
You didn't see it?
I heard that Bryan Cranston wasn't in it very much, and that Godzilla didn't show up until like way late in the movie. And I'm like, okay, I might pass this for now and come back to it later. And then I never.
Oh man! So when I picked the question, I was like, oh well, dude, no, Aaron's obviously seeing Godzilla, so yeah,
I feel bad. I feel bad. I'm a bad Godzilla fan. I'm a bad.
Aww. I feel like an asshole. That was a really hard question. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. So right now, Ryan's ahead of me. Wait, what was he at before? He was at 14. Okay, so it's 15-9. So I have to get every question right next week, and he's got to get every question wrong for it to be a tie game. So it seems like Ryan's gonna win. Oh wait, no, actually, no, we have two movies, so I still have a chance. I'm not gonna worry about it yet.
Yeah, what we have we have Ultron next week, and then we have Ant-Man?
Yeah. It's weird to end this on Ant-Man. You'd think this would have ended on Ultron, but...
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's weird. But no, so yeah, no, I got two more movies to catch up on, and if we're lucky, I might get a guest lined up for next week, who may or may not be Nicole, we'll see, to bring in more tiebreaker questions. We'll find out.
Oh, man. Oh no, what a surprise!
To be fair, that hurt me last time, so I might not do that.
Yeah, if you think I'm an asshole with the questions, Nicole is...
Oh god, Nicole's brutal.
Nicole is on some next level trivia nonsense.
With that, Ryan, we're down to the final segment of the week, which is our the list. It's the list of Marvel movies. We rank them from best to worst, worst to best, to determine what the best Marvel movie of all time is. Last week we said Winter Soldier was our number one, and Iron Man 3 is currently our bottom ranking movie. So, Ryan, right now, you said that you like this movie better than you originally thought you would, or you remembered it. Where would you place it based on that right now?
I'm actually in pain.
I can feel it.
I am in pain. So, The Winter Soldier is a personal favorite for me. Not only was it fantastically done, but it hit a lot of the character like the story elements that I personally enjoy, that I truly just dig. And it felt like a movie that was made just for me. Just for me. But when you look at everything that Guardians actually contributes to the saga as a whole, on top of it being a really well done movie, on top of it just injecting a true element of just fun, and just you go, like, it was impossible to not have a good time watching Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, whether you read the comics or whether you walked in saying, "Who the fuck is Star-Lord?" everybody walked out with a huge smile on their face, laughing their ass off, and it knocked it out of the park. And I feel bad, Captain. Please forgive me, but I have to recommend it goes number one. I have to recommend it goes number one. It does.
I had this whole thing ready to convince him, with it being the riskiest venture, with it being so successful, with it being a bunch of new characters, and with all these characters having these psychological quirks and shortcomings, but they still somehow manage to overcome them to become heroes. And I didn't have to do any of that. He did all the arguing for me. Yeah, I'll go with number one. I'm fine with that.
I can be slightly impartial in this judgment process, because I straight up went into it saying, guys, Guardians was fantastic, but Winter Soldier is better. Come on. And then when I actually watched it again, I was like, fuck, this is actually a better movie. God damn. So
it's a very close margin, though. Like,
it's super close. It doesn't it doesn't take it far and away, but yeah, it edges it out. All I can say is that I feel like the number 1 and number 2 spot is gonna be locked down for a little bit. That's my personal opinion. I will reserve true judgment for when we actually watch the rest of the movies. But right now, I feel like 1 and 2 are locked for a couple of movies for me.
I was gonna say, I think, and this is my personal off my memory here, but I don't think Ant-Man or Ultron are gonna take number 1 or number 2.
No.
Ant-Man's good. I remember Ant-Man being good, but I don't think it's number 1 or number 2. And Ultron, I don't have fond memories of. But we'll see if I can overcome that here, and find out for sure next week. But after that, Civil War's up, and that is a contender. I'm not going to say it's going to win, but it is a contender. So we'll have to definitely give that some serious consideration when it comes back up.
Wait, so Civil War comes before... You're right, Civil War does come before Doc Strange.
Civil War is the kickoff for Phase 3.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, that will
that being said,
a conversation.
But that being said, I think almost every Phase 3 movie is a contender for the top spot.
Almost, yeah, you're right. Damn near
So,
almost every Phase 3. I feel like especially with Winter Soldier and Guardians, like with the huge success that those two got, they hit Phase 3 running. They hit the ground running on Phase 3. And they knew exactly what beats to really hone in on, while still giving themselves some wiggle room to play around with new stuff. So yeah, Phase 3 is definitely the strongest because of the experimentation they did in Phase 2.
So yeah, I'm excited to see where we go from here. But next week we have Ultron. And Ryan, my expectations are low, but I'm ready to see if after all these years I have finally come over my my less than excited opinions about Ultron. How about you?
You know what? I've been surprised enough times in this project that we're doing that I'm gonna try and go in just honestly with a clear and open mind. I have not seen Ultron in literally years, so we're just gonna go and see what the fuck is up with it, honestly.
All right then. Well, I apologize to the audience for running a little long, but we had to get a little bit of Black Panther digression out of the way, and Guardians is a big movie, a lot of stuff happening. Couldn't really shorten it any more than we tried. But we got through pretty quick. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure you follow up with us on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and if you want to respond to any of those questions we asked you, or the ask us more questions for the trivia, or if you want to give us your favorite movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you can reach out to us in those social media sites, or again, evacstation@gmail.com. Next week, Ultron, and trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's all the administration stuff to hit up today. So,
so.
yeah. So we'll see you after the credits.
Bye!